Hello, it's Jimmy here at O'Reilly's. Have a Mercedes E-Class here with an engine management light on and the car is in limp mode, so we're going to get inside and have a look at what's wrong with it. Okay, we're going to use the launch Euro tab 3. Do a diagnostic scan. And this is what we're looking at, really, engine management light, and it's just down on power, it's losing power. Press diagnose. This is why I like to use the tab 3 on these Mercedes. There's so many modules, it can take 5 or 10 minutes on the average scan tool, but this one is usually quite quick to scan through it. Alright, most of these are going to be ignorable faults, like reverse emergency tension, ESP, battery voltage is too low, door lock. Right, we're going to be looking at the engine. This is where we're going to be losing the power from. P246309 particle filter is blocked. P010106 airflow sensor has a malfunction. Exhaust back pressure sensor has a malfunction. The signal is outside permissible range. Let's go into the engine ECU. Okay, we're gonna go to data stream. Okay, I've got the engine running now. We're going to look for diesel particulate filter, fill level, engine speed, ash content, soot content. B60 exhaust back pressure. Let's change that over to something I'm more familiar with. So the DPF is at 400%. Soot content. Where's the missing? Do the air mass. We're missing. Have we got DPF? The normal DPF pressure, or am I missing something? Temperature sensor, pressure sensor there. Right, we're gonna go to millibars or HPA. So we have 10 millibars. It's a little bit high for one of these. Fill levels at 400%. Air mass 640 milligrams. It doesn't change if you go over to that one. So on these Mercedes, you see 10 millibars. That we could be sitting at 19 millibars there, and it would still show 10. It doesn't go to 20 until you sort of move the revs up slightly. If we go to like 1100 RPM, it goes to 20 millibars. So we're very close. I'd say we're probably sitting around sort of 16, 17 millibars of pressure there. Right, but the cause of that blocking up is going to be because we have an airflow issue. You can see that the airflow, we can see there the airflow sensor does move. Most likely on these we've got an air leak, which is losing air from somewhere, so we're going to test that now. Okay, we're looking at this engine 2.1. I've already loosened that out. We're going to get that off. Okay, now that's off. We're just going to loosen this out, lift that up from there, and release that from there. And we can just get this intake pipe out. I'm going to open the air inlet here. Pull that back. Okay, I just realised, I just got told by the customer I've already seen this car before. I didn't really realise that when I was just looking at it now, but he said, yeah, I've already seen it like a week or two ago, and I have already diagnosed it. I do so many of these E-classes, I honestly forgot that I've already seen this car, but he's pulled out a part. He said, yeah, I diagnosed this part the last time. And it's this one, yeah. Boost hose, intercooler hose. Okay, I was about to do the diagnostic. I'll show you anyway. We're going to get it out. I didn't realise it was the same car I already seen before, but okay. We'll get this set up. Let's launch smoke 1. Okay, so we're just inflating that to seal off the pipe here. Turning on this unit. We should give it maybe a minute now to start producing smoke. And yeah, down here we're going to have a split boost hose. You can already see it there. We don't even have to actually do the smoke test, but we'll just do it to show you, just to make it interesting. I suppose we'll show you it anyway. While that's running, we're going to open some of these bolts here, put that in the right direction. We're going to get this ECU off and the airbox out so we can get access to the DPF. Okay, I can see some smoke now coming from down there. You can see there, comes from that crack in the boost hose. Obviously it's visible on this car, but not every car is visible, so that's why you need a smoke machine just to confirm where the smoke's coming from. Okay, I've lifted up the ECU and now we've taken out the bolts. These little clips can be quite fragile, so just pop it out a little bit. I see so many of these broken when they come to you. People break them quite easily. Pulled it apart, and then you should be able to just pop that up, this little rubber hose to the side, and then grab it, pull it out, and there's your access to your DPF pipes. Just there. We will need to move that bracket, pull that electrical plug off. Now we've undone the bolts for that, just tilt it forward basically, so we can see where the DPF sensor is. Just there, tilt it down, move that back a little bit. So there we have access now to bolt hoses, so we can see someone's had these off before. Of course, he's tried to have the DPF cleaned in the past, and within a few days or the next day it's blocked up again. I think that was the same story that he gave me last time. Okay, so really we can do it either way around. We can clean the DPF first or replace the hose. We'll probably just do it like this. We'll clean the DPF out, then we're going to have to raise the car up, get underneath, so we can replace that hose down there. Now usually on these Mercedes, I'll just show you, one pipe is bigger than the other. So this one is before the DPF, this one is after. So this one, if we're sitting it in this position, let me just show you. So this pipe is slightly larger diameter, so one's like 6mm, one's like 8mm or something, and it's that one that you're going to be putting the DPF cleaner into. If you don't, some of these though do have both the same size hoses, so it's usually the one furthest away from the electrical connector, but a way to confirm that is always to use a manometer. So these are the manometers I always try to use two, just to make sure that we're getting the same reading from both. And then you can see if we switch it to the smaller tube, get like a 0 or half a millibar, anything sort of 0 to 2 millibars on the back box. Okay, now we've got that hooked into that pipe. This is a pressurized gun connected to a compressor at 130 psi. Got a cleaning fluid in there, and then we just squeeze the trigger, get it in. Just hold that trigger for a minute or two until all the fluid's gone in. come around the back, you'll see some smoke. Okay, I'm going to use that pedal depressor to hold the revs up at 3000 RPM. You're going to see a fair bit more steam now. It's just vapour, that's all that is. It will now make its way out. Okay, that's the sensor back in, all of the bolts back in place. Airflow meter plugged back in. We'll leave that pipe until the last. We're going to go back down here now and get this intercooler hose replaced. Okay, so some plastic trays off, a few bolts. We have here, first side of the intercooler hose. We're going to use a little clip tool to release that spring and just try and push the pipe off. Now we need to get the other end. There it is, just there. Again, just gonna need to get this tool in there and stretch it down. Might need my two hands for this bit. Okay, now we've got both ends disconnected. We can just basically twist it around until we get the pipe out. Okay, that's a closer look. It's a very common area. They always sort of go on this hose. Match up replacement, make sure it looks the same. This is a genuine hose that I did tell the customer to get from Mercedes. Okay, so that's it. New pipes fitted in. You just obviously make sure that it's pulled all the way in and that it is locked. These little clips are locked into place so it doesn't pop off. Okay, now we've put all these pipes back on. It does make you laugh. Like, I see this customer, didn't even recognise his face, didn't recognise the car, and then he said, "Oh yeah, he told me to get this pipe last time." I was like, "Oh, I've seen this car before, have I?" But anyway, that was the diagnosis last time. Boost leak, get a new hose and come back. Once we've got the hose, then we can do the DPF clean. Because it was pointless to do the DPF clean without replacing this hose. And this is the kind of point that I'm making in a lot of my videos, is there's a lot of DPF cleaners out there, especially mobile guys, to be honest, that just come out, put a flush in your car and then be underway. But you will find in some cases a mile down the road, or some cases maybe 200 miles, your DPF is clogged again because they haven't fixed the cause behind it. Okay, now the diagnostic machine, we need to use it to go into special function, teach-in process. We're going to do a few different ones. We're going to do that one, drift compensation, which resets DPF pressure sensor, all of these ones. So without doing these resets, we won't be able to reset the fault codes. Now we need to do this one, because the DPF is considered to be non-fixable when it hits 400%, but the pressure is now low, so we can reset it. If you reset this without cleaning the DPF, you can damage it, so just be sure you know what you're doing. It can only be reset if the DPF has been cleaned and the pressure has come down low. Okay, so that's that done. Now we can go back and clear, these fault codes that we have. We can get those cleared. The airflow one's gone already, which is weird.
No, he's not straight away.
Okay, back in. Let's make sure that they've all cleared. Read, no DTCs. Now we're going to take the vehicle on a test drive for a few miles. You can see now we're not restricted at 3000 RPM anymore. Okay, test drive finished. We have 3000 RPM, 40 millibars of pressure. You can see the exhaust pack pressure sensor is working fine. The fill level of the DPF is down to 0%. And then the idle pressure of the DPF, you can see it hovering down between 0 to 10, so it's sort of hovering between sort of 8 to 10 millibars at a minute, but it will come down a bit more than that. So that's it, all finished. See you in the next video.